Yeah, what's up? Yes, I know. Haven't been on in a while. Had things to do. Still got a life beyond this camera. Some of you guys already know I'm like job hunting, and plus there's a lot of stuff going on at home. Things are a little bit stressful, so that's why I haven't been on in a while. But I'm still planning to make videos. I had a bunch of other stuff that I wanted to do. So yeah, there'll be more stuff coming up. This one's going to be a really quick update. I don't really got like one major theme to talk about, so again, if you don't like these rambling type videos, you can just turn this one off and wait for the next one. I guess, well, I do got one thing I want to talk about real quick, but before I get into that, just want to give a shout out to a dude who I just befriended, Fajin. He's a fellow Chinese sword enthusiast, a guy he likes Chinese martial arts, and hey, solidarity. That's all I gotta say. Also a shout out to some of the other people who've been sending me some really interesting vids. Really like those. Thinkmorepink also, she had recently, the last time I went on, she had put up a really good video on people. Basically her message was on people needing to know how to have to learn to live their own lives and not care what other people think in the end. She did it really well. I'll put up a link over there. Check it out. It's good. And yeah. This vid, just want to make out one real quick message. I'm pretty sure you guys have already seen the Democratic convention and the Republican convention. Democratic one had me laugh a couple of times. There were some lines that just had me going, oh my god. The Republican one I did not watch. I wanted to preserve my brain cells as much as possible, but from what I've been told and from a couple of clips I've seen on there, I wasn't missing much. Or rather, there was a hell of a lot that I did miss that I'm glad I didn't see or get to hear. I think it's becoming more and more evident to people who are actually paying attention that this entire election is pretty much a farce. We're once again being force-fed two candidates that don't exactly have our best interests at heart. I mean, say what you want from Obama, and he has a hell of a lot of supporters, particularly a lot of progressive types who are for him, but quite frankly, I just stopped supporting the guy ever since he voted for the FISA law. And the more I've been looking at his record, and the more I'm looking at what he actually wants to do with his foreign policy and all that, the more it's obvious that the change that he's saying that he's for really isn't there. Maybe in a couple of things domestically there might be a little bit of a change, and he sounds like he means well. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but considering that I don't trust any politician, and to me most of them are always lying bastards in the end, that's about all he can hope for me. I'm not so sure. See, people like me, when you see that the system is corrupt, you don't want to vote, because it's like you're just simply adding more fuel to the fire. For all those guys saying, well, you have to vote, all I'm doing is continuing a rotten system. I'm just pushing a rotten system on. It's just continuing the BS. Instead of voting, we should be, protesting or something. And it's not like people haven't tried, but we've seen what happens with that. Anyone who's been paying attention to what's been happening with independent news, or for those of you who've been watching Democracy Now!, you know what happens to people who protest, and you especially know what happens to people who cover these protests. The government's got an agenda, alright. All I can say for those people who are still trying to vote for Obama and keep talking about he's better than McCain, well, yeah, French Poodle's better than McCain. I mean, come on. Granted, if Obama comes in, I don't know, maybe the progressives in this country might be able to put some pressure on the guy and remind him that they were the ones who, wanted him to do some shit, and it's time he, keeps up with the promise. But you guys are going to have to back that up. And considering the way government's been working and how it's becoming more, politicians are just more and more blatantly showing that they will not do what you ask. Hell, look at the Democrats. Look at what everyone voted them in to do a particular set of things, and they haven't done it. Hell, you got the head of the Democrats, Pelosi, who's actually taken off the table the very thing that they wanted the Democrats to do, which is why they were voted in there in the first place. The impeachment stuff, hello? But yeah, Republicans are much worse, especially since it's obvious that McCain and his rather insane vice president, I don't know. Again, it's just obvious to me that we're once again given laughable choices, and I'll admit the Republican choice is even more laughable than the Democratic one, but I mean, goddamn. People, if you're gonna vote, there are more than these two. I mean, we've got Hell, we got, you got Nader, you got Ron Paul. Yeah, they got a couple of flaws, but they're way better than what you're being shown in the mainstream media. There's other candidates out there, and they're not the only two. There are other people out there. Do some research. We do not have to settle for the lowest common denominator. We do not have to settle for the less of two evils. I'm sure you've heard this line before. The less of two evils is still evil, and it's true. You're still shooting yourself in the foot. Oh boy, I don't know. See, it's stuff like this that gives anarchists, reasons for believing what they believe. This is all the evidence they need to prove to you guys that you're just not in as free a system as you think you are. It's just laughable. And for those of you guys who are going to disagree with me on this, or just wondering why I'm jumping on Obama as well as McCain, wondering, how come you're not going to... Just do yourself a favor. Don't take my word for it. Go and look at the guy's record. Look at what he's voted for in the past few months, and look at the people that he's chosen to be part of his cabinet if and when he gets elected. You'd be surprised. Look at their backgrounds, and you'll realize that there's not as much change going on over there. Or better yet, if you want a real eye-opener, take a look at his foreign policy, what he plans to do as president, and see what his foreign policy is. You'll see it's not much different than what the Republicans want to do. The Republicans are just a lot more aggressive at what they want to do. He's going to be a little bit more slick, but it's going to amount to the same thing. There's not going to be a pullout. Might be a pullout in Iraq, but it's going to be a slow pullout. And he's still going to be sending troops in Afghanistan, and they're still planning on trying to squeeze as much as they can out of the Middle East. There's a certain plan in effect to control that region, and he's going right along with it. Look at some of the people in his cabinet, and then look at their history, and just, again, don't take my word for it. Just do the research, please. It's out there. The information's out there. It's not hidden. Alright, that's all I gotta say. Again, it's laughable to me, but it's just pathetic at the same time. It's just the type of thing that just, you sometimes just sit back and just wonder what the hell is going on with people. Why aren't they paying attention? But then again, if anyone's seen one of the latest vids that the Amazing Atheist had put up about why there won't be a revolution, he's dead on, folks. The major reason is because people simply won't care. If a bunch of foot soldiers came through this door right now, FBI guys or whatever, and blasted my head as I was filming this, and somehow this got out on YouTube, there might be a couple of people outraged about it, but most Americans will not care, and that's the problem. As long as it's not happening to them. And that's exactly why we're in the mess we're in. One of the reasons, anyway. Alright, enough of that pessimism. Like I said, I'll be putting up some more vids. I'll get back into the flow of things again. It's just the things I've been busy. Oh, and for those, I know there were a couple of people who were like, oh man, you're not putting up any more sword vids. Again, I am planning to put up more. It's just that I was going to kind of lay off of those for a while. But I wanted to put up some stuff. I got some footage already of me messing around the backyard, and I'll put that up. And some people were wondering, like, some more basic stuff. I might put that up. We'll see. I'm not really rushing to put that. I want to put more, more serious topics, or maybe more goofy topics, and I want to finish the tech stuff first, but there'll be some more sword stuff. And I was also thinking, I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, but I was also thinking that, considering that I keep listening to a lot of, weird music, and I'm always putting on my vids, and I know some people are wondering where I'm getting it from, or who the artists are and all that, I've been thinking about wanting to review a couple of tracks here or there, or tell people more about the artists and where they can get them at, so they can go out and buy this music. It's an idea in my head. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. It depends on if I think it's worth it, because there's plenty of other people reviewing music, and that really wasn't my intent when I first came on here, but we'll see. Alright guys, take care. See you in the next video.